Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Matt, and today we are going to talk how using one level of indentation per method will make your code better and cleaner. The examples in these episodes are written in JavaScript, but you can easily extrapolate into other languages like Python, Java, and so on. But before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe so more people can reach this video and learn those tricks. Let's get started. Today we are going to talk about only one level of indentation per method and how it can improve our code to make it more readable and simpler to read to other developers. So one level of indentation per method allows us actually to reach the separation of concerns. So the principle, which is about separating the parts of the computer program into distinct sections to address one particular problem. So let's get started. So let's look closer into the following function. It is responsible for the product validation and it's written in JavaScript without TypeScript. As you can see that there are no types defined. As you can see in the very first line, we accept an array of products, which we are going to validate in the further steps. So as you can see, we have the list of required fields, which is type, name, price, and description. In the line 4, we assume that the input is valid, and we are going to return the value of this variable in the line 17. So in the line 6, we actually iterate through the array of products. We take the keys of the object in the line 7. So let's take a look in the next loop, which is in line 9. And in this one, we take the list every required field and we compare if the object contains all of them. If it doesn't, we change the variable is valid from line 4 to false, so our validation actually fails. As you can see in the left line 12, we actually break the execution of this function because it's no longer required. Actually, we could make a check also in line 14 if the validation actually is invalid, then we're supposed to also stop iterating to the list of products because this method will fail anyways. So as you can see, we have several levels of indentation here. So the first loop is a 0 level, like all of these functions from between line 2 and 6 and also 17 are in the level 0. And we allow only one level inside. So 7 and 9 are okay, but the if nested inside the nested loop is not correct, and also it contains. So what it tells us. So as you can see, the code I marked isn't actually part of this function. It's actually about single product, so we can easily extract it, right? So let's imagine that we'll split our code into two functions. So we'll extract the logic of validating the product outside. So as you can see, this is exactly the same things which we had before in the previous function in the nested loop, right? The validate products will simply iterate to the list of products and validate each product separately, right? So as you can see, this function is way simpler, but it has a lot of duplicated logic. So as you can see, the isValid variable is duplicated in every function, and it tells us that something might be wrong with this code. But let's look further. As you can see, this code still violates this one level of indentation rule, because actually you can see here in this function that we already violated here. So how can we actually improve it? So let's consider a bit better approach. So we still have two functions, one to validate products and another one to validate the single product. I rename it to call it isProductValid because I believe it is a better name, and it accepts one product, right? So as you can see, we have still the list of required fields here, which is still type, name, price, and description. And we take all keys of the object of products and we convert it into fields variable, right? And later on, we will search for missing fields. So we'll run the filter method against the required fields and we'll compare, does product contain the required field? If it doesn't, we'll add it into this array, right? And if the missing fields array is empty, we will return true, right? And otherwise it is false because the product is invalid. And how we are going to use this validate method? So look into validate product. We'll also use JavaScript method called filter, and we'll run this function from line 7 to 16 against the product list, right? And we'll return the array of valid products. If valid product list is the same length as products, we'll return true, otherwise we'll return false. This approach is a bit better than the previous one because we could modify these two functions later on to display simply errors which we have with our products, right? So imagine that the type is missing, we would like to probably include it into the results, right? But in the current we wanted to take a simpler approach just to fulfill the need of this example, right? Which is one level of indentation, which you can exactly see here, because this is the level 0, right? And this is level 1. So in the computer science, we simply count from 0. So 0 and 1, right? So this code actually fulfills the requirement of one level of indentation. So as you can see, this method is also reusable, right? So we can use it for any other product. It's not nested within the validate products, so we can actually use it. So what are the main benefits of single level of indentation? It's fulfilling the single responsibility principle, which is as in solid, and it is also improving the reusability, so we can actually use this code in any other place in our application. I just wanted to show you this example, like the simple example, so that's why it's so primitive, but probably you can extend it in the future. And that's it for today. I hope you find the content of this video useful and helpful. But wait a moment, before you close this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so more people can watch it and reach it. Thank you and stay tuned for the next episodes.